Welcome, everyone, to the What Turns You On podcast. And today, we are in the amazing Sexploritorium in Denver, Colorado. And this is my lovely guest, Fawn O'Breitzman, the creator of this magnificent space. And we just want to make sure that you see these beautiful things behind us because, you know, this is the Sexploritorium. So Fawn comes to us with, oh my gosh, 20 years, you said?
Of teaching, yeah.
Of teaching sex education. So let's be clear on that. Tell us a little bit more about you before we go into the big question, my love.
Sure. I like cheese and long walks in the park. I don't actually like that.
That's a real thing.
I like to sit there. Like I like to find a bench and then just look at pretty things. I'm a hedonist. Actually, that's really what it comes down to. I really like pleasure in every form. And that's part of the cheese thing.
But we own the fucking cheese thing, right?
Exactly.
Oh my God. It's like, so I started coming here last year. I came here when she had the grand opening of the Sex Museum. And I've been hooked, and it is just such a sacred place. She holds these amazing events that people are able to come to and be able to learn and explore and understand more of their sexuality. And it's just such a safe place. It's so safe. And it just brings, for me, so much joy and happiness. It's ridiculous. Like truly, it's just ridiculous how much I love it here. And so, yeah, I'm just very honored to have this opportunity to showcase this amazing woman who is doing great things in the realms of pleasure and in the realms of helping people just be themselves.
Oh,
just be themselves.
That's amazing.
Oh, but it's true. I mean, that's the thing. And you talk to anyone that knows you, that has experienced this space, that has experienced the classes that you've offered, the Sex Museum, you in person, they're like, oh, yeah, we all love Fawn because this is what she's helped bring this to our community.
Oh, that's how cults get started. I just want to.
Note to self.
So I taught social psychology as well. It's like the evil side of psychology, of like cults and things. And so it's amazing to me how I really like it. It's hard for me to enjoy things in life because I go, oh, cult. Oh, that's going to be bad. It's like knowing all the what's going to happen next stuff. Yeah,
so you're saying you're very intuitive.
Well, I call it pessimistic. Intuitive better. Yeah.
Well, we'll take that spin anyway we can get.
When I would teach social psychology, my students really liked me and I liked them. And they would say to me almost every semester, if you had a cult, I would join it. I'm like, did you learn with nothing? Well, mine is going to become a weird sex cult too. Like there's no escaping that. Like we've seen the data. So don't join my cult.
Okay,
it'll get weird.
Okay, yeah.
But when females have the cult, there's no weird sex kid stuff.
Oh,
so that's nice.
That's a good
thing. Yeah,
that's a pro.
Be a weird sex cult, but it won't be with kids.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
We've gone off on a really weird start. I apologize.
Honey, this is the platform for all this great shit. This is totally the platform for that, and I love that.
Excellent.
Okay, so here we go, my love. Tell me.
Yes.
Goddess Fawn, what turns you on?
So I've been thinking about this one. I mean, clowns. No, that's not it. I did think that was a funny. No, I feel like this is going to be a very vanilla answer, and I'm already disappointed with myself. But it's the truth. It's confidence. Because I was really thinking, like, what is it that attracts me to people? And like, I love burlesque and drag. Like, those are my two favorite things in the world, and we love to have burlesque and drag shows. And I was thinking, well, like, what is it about them? And it's this just unending balls to the wall confidence. And it doesn't matter what your body looks like. It doesn't matter your age or your size or your whatever, your ability, disability. You can get out there and just absolutely command a room. Yes. Yeah, and so I'm a pansexual lesbian. I like to call it that. Because I love bodies. I love all bodies. I think they're gorgeous and beautiful and exciting and.
That turns around too.
Yeah. But it's how you work that body. You can see people who are very insecure about themselves, and we've all been there. Like, no shade whatsoever, but sure. It affects. We have this thing called mirror neurons, where when you show an expression, the person looking at you is almost forced to show the same expression. Like, everything in our brain is telling us to do the same thing so that we connect and we are part of the group. And so when somebody is embarrassed, we feel embarrassed and it affects our experience. Yeah. And so when we see somebody with confidence, we feel confident too. And it kind of spreads through the room and we're all whooping and hollering because everybody feels so good. And that relates exactly to the bedroom. It's the same thing. When you come in, you're like, oh, I'm awesome and you're awesome and this is going to be awesome. It's a much better, exciting experience than if you come in and like, oh, are you going to like my body? I want to hide things about my body. You know what I mean?
I do. Oh. I love that you're bringing this up. And the reason is because after I completed my marriage, I mean, I didn't know what I needed, what I wanted. I didn't know any of that. And I had an amazing, magical experience with a man. And he said to me as I'm walking around in my au naturel, and he goes, your confidence is so sexy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What? Say it again. Yeah. You're right. It's true, because that was such a turn on for me, and it elevated me in this experience of me just learning me figuring out me.
Yeah.
When was it that you realized confidence was your turn on?
Oh, I think in the car on the way here.
Well, that came in just the nick of time.
Right?
Good job.
Well, ace that test. Just
yeah.
Really, like, I don't know if I would have put words to it. Like, I was really thinking, what is it that I like above all else? Because one of the things that I like that's just kind of like a weird kink, but it makes me really attracted to the person, is if they are handy, if they could do stuff. Like, I got my wife a tool belt, not to put tools in. No, just to wear for sexy times.
Oh,
right? Because I love it so well. Fix the bathroom. Wonderful. Power tools.
Power tools.
Right.
Oh, I wouldn't be though.
Right. There's so many things.
There's so many. It's like
Yeah.
And it's like their own personal vibrator.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
Fantastic. But yet it's accomplishing even other things. So
exactly.
There
so
you
it's
go.
good times.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've definitely had relationships where I've seen people have, especially body hangups. I dated this one girl who things were going well, and we hooked up, we had sex, and she wouldn't take off her pajama shorts. She had these pajama shorts, she was sleeping, but she wouldn't take them off while we were having sex. And like, it was pretty good. Like, she gave me 3 orgasms. That was the most I'd ever had in one little session. I was very impressed. But that was a no-go for me. She was a bigger girl, but I'm a bigger girl. And so when I talked to her about it, she's like, well, I just don't feel comfortable with my body. And I'm like, but I have like the same body. How does that work? That's not working for me. Like, I have my own body issues that I've been dealing with my whole life. I'm at a different place with that, and And that really told me something at that time of like, I need somebody who feels confident in their body, no matter what their body looks like. And so for some of us, it takes a lot, especially with like gender dysphoria and things like that. That's another playing field. But really, just being able to, especially in an intimate setting, being able to freely just be naked with each other. Like we would have naked days where you just don't come to our house because it's naked day.
Naked day, absolutely.
We had a naked Christmas. Oh, that was nice.
It was really liberating.
It was. Yeah. My wife has 7 brothers and sisters. Well, she's one of 7.
Yeah.
And they all live in the Denver metro area, and they all have families, and so it's a big group. And so we said, we're not going to see you on Christmas. We're going to have Christmas at home, and it's going to be naked Christmas. And they're like, well, can we come over? And it's naked Christmas. So you do what you need to do, but that's the rule of the house. Nobody came over. It was a great Christmas.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So you're hit on another topic here. So a couple of weeks ago, we were here when you hosted the Femdom Salon.
Yeah.
And Mistress Lovewitch, who was the MC, the host of the event, I was just enthralled with her outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And for our listeners, she had on like this lingerie that then had a corset and it was very French. It was very French. She had her hair piled up high. It was really beautiful and sexy. And she had this long tooled skirt thing, but she was showing her skin because it was see-through. And witnessing her, because I myself, even as we speak, am in those realms of body, like my confidence is not where it needs to be. But there was a shift for me that day.
Yeah.
In being able to witness her going, this is me. And it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then another one. Oh my gosh. Luna. Mm-hmm. Luna dressed in her, what would you call that beautiful, she had like the black skirt dress, little BDSM kind of thing. Yeah. And she just was owning it. And it was just so beautiful. Yeah. And in that moment, seeing these women gave me permission, literally. Mm-hmm. I shifted and gave me permission to go, I can do the same thing. Yeah. And not give a fuck about what I think it is. I get to own the fact that my body's been through shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And exactly. Where I'm at in my life, I get to own all of it.
Yeah.
Right. And that was such a turn on for me, because then I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay. I got this.
Yeah. And that's what, again, that is what I love about burlesque and drag, right? You see these people, and especially some burlesque is very traditionally attractive women, but like, that's not the burlesque we have. That seems weird to say too, but beautiful people who are outside of that traditional, very small
body type.
And it's wonderful to see, because you can think about your own body. Like, my body has flaws and maybe things that I don't like or society might not like, but I can shake it. I can shake it too. And I can use what I got. And I love that. And I really love, we've had a number of people with various disabilities be on the stage. And it just makes me so happy. Like, we had this one dancer who used a medical cane, like, very medical cane, it had the little prongs on the bottom. And I've never seen a sexier dance. Oh my gosh, she worked that cane. Oh, like, I just want to fall at her feet, at the end. I just, amazing. And all the men who do burlesque and do genderqueer stuff, and it's just, I love it. It's the freedom of our bodies. We've been constrained so long in what we're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
That's what I really love about our society right now is at least in our pocket of the world.
Yes.
of the US, we really do have a lot of freedom in how we dress and what we look like. And if I want to tattoo my face, I can tattoo my face and get a corporate job.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, body shaming is a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We grew up with body shaming.
Yeah.
I grew up, you know, when you have a parent that in their mind, they think that you're overweight.
Mm-hmm.
And then that translates to the child.
Yeah.
And forcing you to do exercises on a daily basis. And if you don't, you get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you go into adulthood, and it doesn't matter. You feel heavy, right? You feel unattractive. You feel like you're not accepted by society because you've been shamed your whole life.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're shifting this narrative and being able to say, wow, you know what? This body turns me on because it's the confidence that I have. And there's that mindset shift that happens.
Yeah.
Right. And so being able to stand in our truth. And once again, I go back to this space, this sacred, holy space that allows people to come in. And they may come in with some baggage, but they've left it at that door.
Yeah.
And then when they come in and experience whatever they're meant to be and whatever event is happening, whatever people they connect with, they leave in a more healed version of themselves. Mm-hmm. They do, because they're like, these people, they're not judging me. They're not shaming me. They're accepting me. Yeah. They're just loving me for just who I am. Mm-hmm. And there's that confidence that comes.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, one of my favorite things in the museum is we have the Wall of Genitals. Yes. And so just, you know, all of these vulvas and penises and intersex genitals. And what people will do when they see it, they'll find themselves. They're like, it's gonna like make me cry a little, because like this is me, and I wanted to have everybody being represented in the museum. And so it's exciting for me when that happens, when people identify like, maybe I thought my genitals were weird, and now it's like I'm normal. I'm part of the spectrum.
Yeah. And the thing of it is it's a beautiful large spectrum. Yeah. And we just think because of what, you know, pornography and movies and other things have said, this is the only thing it should look like. And and if you're not that, then there goes that shaming. Right. There goes that lack of confidence. Yeah. But here you've got this beautiful wall of everything. And to have someone find themselves, that's the confidence that they leave with. Yeah. Yeah. Right? And that, you can't put a price on that.
Well, it's $15, Tech.
There's that part. But it's a minimal price.
It is. Yes.
To leave with so much confidence.
Get back to what you were saying. There were so many good things in there, but it struck me how much I identified with what you're saying. So I was reading, or some TikTok, it came up randomly, and it was like, hey, you know, your mom taking you to Weight Watchers at 13 was not okay. And I'm like, what? It wasn't? Like, like, that's weird. That I assumed that was totally normal. Yeah. And, you know, my mom, I taught positive psychology, which is the study of happiness, and I used my mother as an example of like what not to do all the time. And I love my mom dearly, but there were some things that, you know, affect other people, including myself. Yeah. And she would always say to my brother and I, you know, we're all a big group, we're a fat family, we pro-fat. And she would say to my brother and I, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, like, and people would be crazy not to love you, and your body's amazing. And then she would say about herself, I'm fat and I'm ugly and nobody would love me. And well, I can't date until I lose weight. And then when she loses weight, she's like, oh, now I've got all this flabby skin. And so I can't date because who would want that? Like, again, you and I look the same. So if you are garbage, what am I?
Right.
So the words are nice, but if she couldn't apply it to herself, it really became kind of meaningless.
So this, when our parents project on us, that is their wounding that they refuse to take a look at and heal.
Yeah.
And just last week, I saw my dad. He's 80 years old now. And just the things that he was saying was like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
way. It's so crazy.
And it's like, if we just do our healing, and I understand it's scary.
Yeah.
Healing, going inside and having to look at the shit and the shadow and the dark and the pain is the most hard thing. And yet it's the most rewarding thing, because then we come through it and we're able to receive the gifts and the lessons, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that projection, they don't even realize what they're doing in harming their children, their children. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And so I get that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. And so it's like, what turns them on? Yeah. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, I think I like with my mom, I think she really just cut it off. Like there was just,
numbed out.
She would rather not have a relationship at all, didn't have to deal with that. And so really dated a couple of times. She would have been under 40 when she got divorced.
Wow.
And really never dated again. And really used the weight as the excuse for it. So my body isn't perfect. And I would talk to her a lot, like, find somebody else whose body isn't perfect. Like, why would they judge you if their body is the same?
Yeah.
But that it was just too much for her to look at. And she really had been body shamed her entire life. Society, to begin with, born in the 40s, growing up in the 50s, she was not overweight, but was considered overweight, and thought she was an old maid at 18 because she hadn't been married yet. Got married at 18 and a half. It was just a very different time period. And I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think she did as much work as she could do, and then stopped.
But
it's hard. It's hard to. I'm a parent, and I'm sure that I am messing up my kids in
for sure
ways I can't even imagine right now.
We need to have
the ones I know.
We need to forget the college fund and have a therapy fund.
Right?
Legit.
I told my kids, I was like, well, now you have something to talk about your therapist with, right? Like,
for sure, because I fucked up, and I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah, yeah. And so my hope is that with every generation, like we get little less fucked up.
Yeah.
That we work on a little bit more, and we pass along a little less like garbage.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. I'll pass a little less garbage to my kids. And
so this begs the question coming up is for what you went through growing up, and now confidence is your main turn on. How did you get into the realm of sex education? Like, what brought you to that place? Because that's so beautiful.
It's funny. So this is going to be a weird, long, rambling answer. I go to a lot of sex conferences, sex education conferences.
Yeah.
And the crowd there is very heavily queer. And it begs the question, right? Why do queers especially go into public health and sex ed and all of those things?
That's a great question.
Right? Thank you.
You and your badass self.
So here's what I've come up with. Here's my theory, untested, is that when you are a queer kid, you have to deal with the fact that what you like, society says you're not supposed to like, that it is a taboo, that it's not okay. And if you come out at all, you have to wrestle with maybe they're wrong, right? That maybe society has got this wrong, because I feel like this feels really right. This doesn't feel sinful. It's not a choice. This is just how I feel. And I've totally lost my train of thought.
Why there are so many queer in this.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we reject those norms, right?
Mhm.
But then you have to ask yourself, well, what else do they lie to me about? Right? What else is totally true without any truth, but I have been told my entire life this is how it's got to be. So things like you're not supposed to like kink, or you're not supposed to like sex without procreation. Well, procreation is right out of the window anyway, so I know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Can we spare it?
Yeah. Oh, we've been saying fuck the whole time.
Oh, have we? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think a lot of people then become really comfortable having conversations about sex, because then you also get a lot of conversations like from your own mother, like, what do you do in bed? You know, so you talk about sex more than other people, and you've thought about sex more than other people in terms of how it relates to society and safety and all that stuff. And so I think we kind of naturally go into the world with that inclination. And then in psychology, I would always get the clients who were either queer or had any kind of sexual issues, because they're like, oh, that's your thing. You know, okay. And then it becomes your thing because you get experience with it. And so you kind of de facto fall into sex education, whether it's uh, in a traditional way, like public health or nursing or psychology or teaching, or you're just like the friend who knows everything and can tell you about a prostate, you know? Yeah. So being a queer kid, I had that experience where I had to reject things. I really then started to look at it. I took human sexuality while I was dating a boy. And I would come home and like, oh, so it seems that like I'm supposed to be attracted to you and not just like want to get off. Like, you know, there was just a lot of things I learned. And then I would try to get my friend who was gay, who had a very um, religious background, to come to the class. I was like, come on, like we'll be gay together in the class, and we'll figure this out. I think by the end, I had already come out into the class, and that's what I really love about human sexuality and teaching about it, because I would see these students go from like very timid, frightful kind of people who didn't want to really look at anything because it was scary, you know, in terms of their own identity, and to like they were proud and out and transitioning sometimes, and just beautiful uh, understanding of their own life and bodies. Oh God, I mean, it was just the best. And that's why I created the place. I really wanted to bring that to everyone. Like, why don't adults have the ability to get reliable sex education? We don't get it as kids, right? They fought us.
They do, yes.
To have it at all. You know, Colorado, we're doing okay, but it's still very limited what we're actually getting. And then what? Then we have the internet.
Yeah,
right.
And let's not even talk about that, because that's painful, because we see the damaging effects it's having on men and women in the bedroom and their relationships, and it's not real. Right.
And that's our like how-to guide.
Yeah.
How to treat each other, what to pay attention to, and it's not what it's meant for.
Yeah. No.
You know, I'm not a hater of porn. I love porn. I'm a good. I have like multiple pins. I love porn. I defend it. It's not education.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fun. It's like a Hollywood movie, you know, and we wouldn't learn how to fly a plane, you know, by watching Air Force One. Dated reference.
Still very spot on.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything has its purpose.
Yeah.
And when we take that, whatever it is, and use it for a different purpose, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Right. Then we need to take a look and see, I then have to go and do more work. Yeah. What is it that I need to do? Because, or then you wonder, why am I having such crappy relationships with people?
Yeah.
You know, in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
With my family, intimate relationships, why are they sucking? Right. So, yeah, there's just There was something else that I wanted to say. Is there anything else bubbling up for you in this moment? Because I had something and it just kind of went, oh.
Oh, it's just exciting. It's exciting to be able to have people want to learn too. I think that's another piece that our society has gotten weird on, of like that that learning something is somehow bad, and it's somehow like you want to avoid it. We get actually dopamine hits when we learn something new. We get excited, like we clap, we get excited in good mood because we get that chemical reward. And I think we've forgotten that that is so enjoyable because it's become like a fight. You know, it's a fight of control. School is often not about learning, it's about control.
Yeah.
You know, I want you to regurgitate the things that I think are important. Not, I want you to experience the fun of the world. Now, there are many, many great teachers who really absolutely do that, but they're being ruled by administrators who override that.
Yeah.
And so I think the system has really squashed us when it comes to learning.
So when people come here and they come to the Sex Museum, what are going to be some of the biggest, most frequent questions or comments that they ask of you or say to you? Because I'm sure it's a little spectrum, but I'd like to know like the top two or three.
Sure. Well, for some reason, all my answers start with like a weird little side story. So side story. I taught abnormal psych, and of all of the disorders that I haven't been diagnosed with, that I think that fits me kind of, is histrionic personality disorder. It's basically narcissistic and histrionic kind of look alike, but histrionic is like, please like me, please like me, please like me. Whereas narcissistic is like, I don't care if you like me, I'm fantastic. So I'm more of the histrionic. I like try to do my little monkey dance. Like, did you like that?
Gotcha.
So every time somebody comes out of the museum, I ask them how it's going, and I was like, "What's your favorite part?" Like, you don't have to tell me, but I want to know. So
okay, makes complete sense. Yes.
So I'm looking for like, tell me everything you liked. So the main ones that come up is the Wall of Genitals. That's the number one answer for sure. It just very quickly gives you that sense of like everybody's different.
Yeah.
But the ones that have surprised me has been the most surprising one for me is the Condom Station. So there's a bunch of different phalluses that you can put, and most of them are modeled after real people.
Yeah.
So it's real erections, and some of them go off to the side, some of them are very small, and some of them are bigger. So you really get a better sense of what this would be like to put on a condom onto somebody. And for a lot of people, a shockingly large amount, they had never done that before. They'd never put a condom on anything. This was their very first time. They didn't know how to do it. There's instructions there, and they didn't know some of the things, like you have to leave a reservoir tip, and like I knew my students really liked that day when I would bring in, the styrofoam models, and they would all put condoms on. It was a great fun day.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite get how unique it was and how essential it was. Yeah, because if you are trying to put on a condom for the first time when you're horny, for one, I will explain to you all of your bad ideas, all of your bad decisions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All of your bad decisions come from vasocongestion. So vasio means blood, congestion means it stays in one spot.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So when we're excited, all our blood goes to our genitals. All of the unnecessary blood, which comes from our brains. It's the only part that our body has decided, no, you're fine without that right now. So what we use to think about the situation is being occupied until orgasm, right? Then it all comes back to our brains, and we go, oh, that was a bad idea. Why did I do that?
What a coinky dink.
So yeah, vasocongestion, it explains a lot. So when you're trying to put on a condom and you're excited, you can't pay attention. You can't think well. So unless it's pretty, you already understand the dynamics of it. You're fumbling around probably in the dark and horny. Yeah. And it's a bad combo for actually trying to do kind of a birth control method.
Right.
So that one has really shocked me and I don't know why it shocks me, because I know that people aren't getting inclusive sex ed. And so, yeah, I guess it just bums me out, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? Because at the end of the day, okay,
Yeah.
let's be fucking real
Yeah.
here. Okay. Sex is everywhere.
Yeah. And it's necessary. We need it.
Critical to our joy, our happiness, our creation, our pleasure. It's like, and yet we're trying to hide it. Why?
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm very, very passionate about is making the conversation of sex, sexuality, all things normalized. Right? Like when I'm with my babies, okay, my children, my grown-ass children, like the conversation that we're having here, we have the same conversations.
Yeah.
It is easy. It is effortless. My daughter and my son-in-law, they have these open conversations with my grandchildren. And I'm like, yes.
Right? You have succeeded.
Right. Yeah. Mind you, this didn't happen overnight. This for me literally happened in the past like 3 years.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. That's amazing to me. Yeah, that is really amazing.
It blows my mind too, because I'm like, holy cow. So being able to normalize these conversations, because it is who we are at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't a queer person want to go into sex health? Because they're like, their society is saying you're not right, and it's like, they're validating, no, I'm exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the body functions in a myriad of beautiful ways.
It's awesome.
And it's not meant to be one function all the time.
Yeah.
And for every person. So normalize the beauty that it's all different, just like this gorgeous wall of genitals, and having someone find themselves and then go, I'm good.
And that's what I like about history too. That's why there's a number of things about history in here, because that's what normalizes it, right? We think of our culture as how it's always been, even though we know that's not true. But it's hard to let that go. And we think of sex as a fairly recent invention, and transgender people and gay people, intersex people forever. Right? So when we see these things on vases, we know automatically, okay, we've been doing weird things for a long time, and it's totally normal. Yeah,
it's not weird.
It's not weird.
This is normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we've been told through our whole lives, this is the weird stuff. When this is actually what most people are doing.
And we can, and I'm just going to say it, we can thank religion for that.
Well, yeah, it's all about control. When you think, why do we hide this? Why do we make this shameful? Absolutely, it's about control. If I need to control a person, if I can get in their head about their sexuality, I control them completely. One of the reasons is because I grew up Catholic, kind of Catholic light, but still have the scars.
Yeah.
And one of the most damaging parts of Catholicism is the idea that if you think of a thing, if I look at you and I go, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have sex with you? That is as bad, sin-wise, on the hierarchy, as if I had sex with you.
Exactly. Yes.
So I have to control my thoughts 24/7. That leaves me no space to think about, is this a good leadership of this church? Is this what I want to do with my life? Does this make sense in this religion? I can't think about that because I'm thinking, oh my God, don't get excited. Oh my God, don't think about other people. Oh my God, don't find that attractive.
Because I'm going to go to hell.
When am I going to go to hell? It's, the most popular class we have, for good or for bad, is the sexual shame class.
And here in the Sexploritorium.
Yeah. By far, it's the only class I do every month that's offered every single month, because that's where people often start. Is this really overwhelming feeling of shame about everything, everything that we do when it comes to sexuality, and so we really have to meet people where they're at, and kind of allow people to find a little air before we can say, okay, and this is all the other stuff that's fun and interesting and exciting.
So we're gonna start to wrap this up and bring this in, but I have to say, are you familiar with Dr. David Hawkins' work on energy and how he was able to literally through Hertz scale the different energy of emotions.
No,
You're going to love this, which is so interesting. The absolute lowest energetic vibration
Yeah.
of an emotion is shame.
Hmm.
It is the
Yeah.
bottom dweller.
Yeah.
And isn't that interesting that that's where that patriarchy, religion, society wants to hold us down.
Absolutely.
Because that's the control, and we're literally on the bottom.
Yep.
And which means anything from there is up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything from there is up. You're gonna love that. I'll share that with you when we're complete here, because when we understand, because like the place to be is that it goes up to like 1,000.
Yeah.
And the place is 500 is love and above.
Yeah.
And so when we get to those places, it's like, because down here in these constricted emotions is where everything feels forced and there's no flow. And when we get to a certain energetic emotion and vibrational frequency, we then become lighter and we're in flow.
Yeah.
And that's our natural state.
Yeah.
Our natural state is flow. Our natural state is being in our sexuality.
Yeah.
Our natural state is owning our bodies. Our natural state is confidence.
Yeah.
And that should be our constant turn on.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? So I'm going to have, this is what I ask all of my guests. This
Cheese?
is like,
no.
Well, it could be. But this is what I'm going to invite you to do, is to give our audience an outrageous dare.
Okay, it's always going to start with a whole like weird sex story.
Please do.
So in my human sexuality class, the end of the semester, every semester was the same project, and it was an experiential project. So their task was to do something that they had never done before. In a sexual sense that fit with their values and their morals. Don't do anything that's against anything that you don't do something like, oh, I think that's a bad thing. But something that you want to do, that you've thought about doing, that you just haven't had the opportunity or haven't found the chance to do, and do it. And they would then write a paper about why it took them so long. Right? So it was a lot of like bias from culture and religion and all of these sources, and parents and thinking that it was dangerous, thinking that it was sinful, those kinds of things. And they were some of the most beautiful papers I'd ever read. They were just, even when they had bad grammar, it was this gorgeous, triumphant, mind-opening experience. And I think we can all do that. We just have to give ourselves permission. And so your homework is outrageous dare is to do something you've never done before. Challenge yourself. If it's scary to you, but you want to do it, make that moment, make it happen. And good things come out of it.
Good things always come out of it.
Even if you find that you didn't like it, something new, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh my God, Esfala, this has been so amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
This treasure time. So everyone, thank you so much for listening, for watching. And I just have to, go and this is called the Sexploritorium. Do your own sexploration.
Right. You're a sexplorer.
You are a sexplorer. Yes. Yeah. Oh, she
collect different badges.
Yeah. And so when you're in the greater Denver area, come to, and I'll leave all the information in the description. And come and visit the Sexploritorium. Come say hello to Fawn, and you're gonna love this beautiful space that she has. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. Such a beautiful time. All right. Before we go, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, do all the things. And we always have to say, remember to ask yourself, what turns you on?